Late night retail sounds simple, but after a few hours, something starts to feel off. Customers behave a little strangely. The silence inside the store becomes uncomfortable, and suddenly that quiet convenience shop feels like a place you're not entirely safe being alone in. Corner Shop Nightshift takes an ordinary night job and slowly turns it into a tense psychological experience. Corner Shop Nightshift is a first-person simulation with light horror elements. You play as an employee working the night shift in a small neighborhood convenience store. Your job is simple: stock shelves, scan items at the register, keep the store clean, and deal with customers throughout the night. The game is currently available on PC, and it's clearly designed for players who enjoy short, atmospheric indie experiences that mix everyday routines with subtle psychological tension. The gameplay loop revolves around realistic store tasks. You organize products, restock shelves, scan purchases, and manage customers coming in during the late hours. Controls are simple and intuitive, so it's easy to focus on the environment and the rhythm of the shift. As the nights go on, the game slowly introduces unusual events and increasingly uncomfortable situations. Nothing happens too quickly, and that slow pacing is intentional. The routine becomes familiar, which makes the strange moments stand out even more. However, because the core tasks remain mostly the same, the gameplay can start to feel repetitive during longer sessions. Visually, the game stays grounded with a simple but effective indie style. The convenience store environment feels believable. Shelves are filled with products, fluorescent lights flicker overhead, and small environmental details reinforce the late night setting. Character models are fairly basic, which is expected for a smaller indie project. But the lighting design does a lot of the work in creating the atmosphere, especially during the quieter moments when the store feels completely empty. Performance is stable overall, and the limited environment helps keep gameplay smooth without technical distractions. Sound design is easily one of the strongest parts of the game. Instead of a heavy soundtrack, Corner Shop Nightshift relies on subtle ambient audio to create tension. The hum of refrigerators, the buzz of overhead lights, quiet footsteps moving through the store, and occasionally the sound of the door opening. These small audio details make the environment feel alive and slightly unpredictable. The lack of constant music actually works in the game's favor. Silence makes every sound feel more important. The story itself is intentionally minimal. There are no long dialogue sequences or heavy exposition. Instead, the narrative slowly reveals itself through small events during your shifts, and through the strange behavior of certain customers. The game focuses more on atmosphere and environmental storytelling than on a complex plot. And that approach works well for the tone, although some players may wish the story offered a bit more clarity by the end. One of the biggest strengths of Corner Shop Nightshift is how effectively it turns something ordinary into something unsettling. Working a retail shift is routine and familiar, and the game uses that familiarity to slowly introduce tension. The simple tasks help players settle into the rhythm of the job before things start to feel slightly wrong. On the other hand, the limited gameplay variety can hold the experience back. Most of the mechanics revolve around the same small set of tasks, so players looking for deeper gameplay systems or more dynamic interactions may find the experience somewhat repetitive. The game clearly prioritizes atmosphere over mechanical complexity. When it comes to value, Corner Shop Nightshift works best as a short, focused experience. It's not designed to be a long game with deep progression systems. Instead, it's a compact narrative-driven indie title. If priced appropriately, it offers a solid amount of atmosphere and tension for the time you spend with it. Overall, Corner Shop Nightshift will appeal most to players who enjoy slow-paced psychological experiences and atmospheric indie horror games. If you're looking for complex gameplay systems or high-intensity horror, this probably won't be the right fit. But if you enjoy games that build tension through environment and subtle storytelling, it's definitely worth a look. Taking everything into account, the strong atmosphere, effective sound design, immersive setting, and the limitations of repetitive gameplay, Corner Shop Nightshift earns a 7.5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, consider leaving a like, subscribing for more gaming content, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. And I'm curious, what everyday location do you think would make the perfect setting for a horror game?